At dawn on the 27th of May 1541, Lady Margaret Pole, aged 67, was led to her execution in the Tower of London. Unlike the ambitious Thomas Cromwell or martyred Thomas More, Margaret was neither a political schemer nor a defiant prisoner of conscience. Her only crime, it seemed, was her bloodline, a lineage once considered powerful and now perilous. Born in August 1473, Margaret was the daughter of George, Duke of Clarence, Edward IV's ill-fated brother. At just 4, she witnessed her father's execution, reportedly drowned in a buttered Malmsey wine for treason. By the age of 10, the shadows around her family deepened when her uncle Richard III seized the throne, declaring her and her brother Edward illegitimate. Her cousins, the princes in the Tower, vanished, while her brother Edward became a tragic symbol of Plantagenet claims, imprisoned and later executed. Margaret spent her life serving the Tudors loyally, yet in Henry VIII's later years, her royal heritage made her a threat too dangerous to live. Margaret Pole's dynastic significance only grew after Henry Tudor seized the throne as Henry VII. His tenuous claim made Margaret and her brother Edward, with their more potent bloodline, dangerous. Henry wasted no time imprisoning Edward in the Tower, where he was executed. In 1487, Henry arranged a strategic marriage for 14-year-old Margaret to his loyal cousin, Sir Richard Pole. This union to a man of lower rank deliberately diminished her status, yet the couple had 5 children: Henry, Arthur, Ursula, Reginald and Geoffrey. Margaret began her royal service in 1501, joining the household of Catherine of Aragon upon her marriage to Prince Arthur. The two women formed a strong bond, interrupted by Arthur's sudden death in 1502, which led to Margaret's dismissal. Like Catherine, Margaret then faced financial hardship. The death of her husband Richard in 1504 left her struggling to support their children, forcing her to send Reginald to the church. Resentful, Reginald later accused her of neglect, saying, "You never took any care to provide for my living." Her fortunes changed in 1509 with Henry VIII's accession. He married Catherine, who restored Margaret to her household. In 1512, Henry made Margaret Countess of Salisbury, granting her the lands once held by her brother Edward, a quiet acknowledgement of his wrongful execution, and Margaret was once more a woman of influence. As Countess of Salisbury, Margaret Pole was one of only 2 women in Tudor England, alongside Anne Boleyn, to hold a peerage in her own right. Her estates were vast, spanning 17 counties and stretching to English-occupied Calais. By 1538, her income was recorded at £2,311 a year, nearly £1 million today, making her one of England's wealthiest peers. Margaret wielded significant power, actively managing her lands and supporting humanist scholars. Her elevated status allowed her to arrange advantageous marriages for her children and secure prestigious court roles for her sons. In 1520, she reached the pinnacle of her influence as governess to Princess Mary, Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon's beloved daughter. Yet despite her triumphs, Margaret's life remained precariously tied to the volatile fortunes of the throne, a reminder that even the highest status offered no true security in Tudor England. Just a year after Margaret Pole became Princess Mary's governess, her sons were suspected of involvement in the Duke of Buckingham's treason. Though reappointed in 1525, Margaret's fortunes were already shifting as Henry VIII's marriage to Catherine of Aragon unravelled. Fiercely loyal to Catherine and Mary, Margaret's defiance angered the king. In 1533, as Henry wed Anne Boleyn, Margaret refused to surrender Mary's jewels and plate. When Mary's household was dissolved, Margaret even offered to care for her at her own expense, an offer Henry firmly rejected. By 1535, tensions had peaked. The imperial ambassador Eustace Chapuis petitioned for Mary to be placed under Margaret's guardianship. Henry's response was explosive, dismissing the countess as a fool of no experience. Margaret's loyalty had become a dangerous liability. Reginald Pole, a fervent Catholic and future cardinal, openly criticised Henry VIII for his religious upheaval that he had caused. Despite Margaret's attempt to distance herself by writing to rebuke Reginald, she fell under suspicion. In August 1538, a St. Geoffrey was arrested for corresponding with Reginald, trapping the entire Pole family in accusations of treason. Margaret's son, Henry Pole, was executed and she was interrogated by William Fitzwilliam, the Earl of Southampton. Despite relentless questioning, Margaret's defiance impressed even her enemies. Fitzwilliam conceded and said, "We suppose that there hath not been seen or heard a woman so earnest in her countenance, manly in continuance, and so precise in gesture or words." Yet Margaret's steadfastness couldn't save her. In late 1539, she was imprisoned in the Tower, attainted for aiding her sons and supposedly plotting a marriage between Reginald and Princess Mary to restore papal authority. The charges were primarily fabricated, but Henry's fury had no room for pardon. Margaret's imprisonment was grim yet relatively comfortable. The king paid for her food, and that of her young grandson Henry was jailed alongside her. She had a servant and even received clothes from Catherine Howard's tailor. Still, her royal lineage and unwavering loyalty to Catholicism made her fate tragically inevitable. In May 1541, despite recently spending lavishly on Margaret Pole's clothing, Henry VIII abruptly ordered her execution. This was likely triggered by unrest in the north, fueled by rebellion against his religious authority and rumours that her son Reginald was plotting to free her from the Tower. On the 27th of May 1541, Margaret was led to the scaffold. Her execution was brutal. One account claims the executioner had to chase the elderly countess around the block, requiring 11 blows to kill her. While this may be exaggerated, the imperial ambassador Eustace Chapuis confirms she suffered terribly at the hands of a wretched and blundering youth who literally hacked her head and shoulders to pieces. Margaret's remains were laid to rest in the Tower Chapel of St. Peter ad Vincula. Upon learning of her death, Reginald Pole proclaimed himself the proud son of a martyr. Centuries later, Pope Leo XIII beatified Margaret to recognise her faith and suffering. Her legacy endures as that of a royal scion who wielded extraordinary influence and defied a tyrannical king with unflinching courage. If you enjoyed this latest video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Click on the screen now to explore the untold stories and hidden secrets of another fascinating figure with a story to tell. Get ready to uncover more historical gems and intriguing royal tales. Your next adventure in history starts right here.